including a juvenile Duro spider. Until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you, like I always do, that enthusiasm is contagious. Well, you know I'm a talker. If you've watched us long enough, you know that I love to talk to folks. And can you envision me driving down the road by a logging operation and wanting to get out and interview and talk to a logger? Well, I'm doing it today. And I happen to be spending some time with Harry Sanders. Hey, Harry.
Hey, how are you doing,
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I love the hard hat, University of Georgia. Proud Warnell alum, distinguished alumni, Harry Sanders, Sanders Logging. We're standing out here on a logging operation. Harry, I gotta ask you a question. I'm looking at this beautiful piece of equipment, and I know we're gonna spend a little time with it here in just a minute. But
yes, sir.
People that are driving by out on the road may not realize that your day starts 3 o'clock in the morning, you said?
Yes, sir. The alarm clock goes off at 3 o'clock every morning.
And you pop right out of bed and you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
And one of the things I want the folks at home to learn today in this segment is the things that are going on before the sun comes up, before these gentlemen are working this equipment. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about what's going on in those wee hours of the morning as this team is preparing to harvest timber.
Well, the biggest thing about Sanders Logging that I'll say is the people that work for us. And there's a communication aspect of it that a lot of people don't understand. So a lot of times when we're getting up, getting ready, and getting out of the house and getting in the trucks with, you know, technology like Bluetooth or the Bluetooth headsets and such, we all start getting on the phone with one another and start talking to each other on the way to work. You know, whether it's the truck drivers that are headed to the woods or to the mill that have been loaded from the day before, or it's the operators like myself and a lot of the guys that work with us that, you know, that are all talking on the way to the woods and, you know, just trying to keeping everybody accountable first thing in the morning.
And getting everybody ready and that teamwork. And then the choreography, literally that word, I love that has to go on out here. You and I talked before we were on camera about this might look boring to somebody.
That's right.
And it's because there's so much good communication.
That's right.
And getting these folks moving around safely.
That's right. So it's all one big rhythm, and when it's all working together, it sounds like a symphony, right?
I love it. Yeah.
So that's the way that I kind of explain to people is, you know, when it is all working together, it may look a little boring, but that's when it's all finely tuned and it's well oiled and greased and it's just working together.
Okay, so we're up here on the Tiger Cat, and Harry is going to show us how you're processing this wood. Harry, why is it that these logs are in different piles?
Well, to start off with, each pile has a different dimension and specification that goes to different mills. So with the job that we're on right now, we have a pulpwood sort that's going to go to the paper mill to make fluff pulp for baby diapers and such.
Okay.
And then we've got a sort for the sawmills that's going to make dimensional lumber. And we also have a sort called light poles, and that's what the name says, that those are going to the mills to make the light poles with the light lines that you see every day. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab a tree, and we're going to look at it. I have determined that I believe this tree is going to be a piece of saw timber. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it and I'm going to use that pull-through delimber, and it's going to strip all the limbs off with the knives that's on it. Wow. And then I'm going to pull it through and pull it to a certain spot where the knots are not on the tree. And I cut the end of it off with it. And then I'm going to pick it up and put it in a pile. This pile right here is going to go to the sawmills right here.
And you're going to do that. You and your operators are doing that, and they're making these decisions so quickly as they're picking up each tree. See, this is the stuff I don't think that folks driving by out on the road realize. These logs are in different piles, and they're being graded by this operator. It's incredible stuff. And Harry, what I want to do next is I want to talk with a Sustainable Forestry Initiative professional and learn about your UGA connection to all this and how that professional development works. So let's head over there next.
Sounds good.
So I'm at another part of the logging operation in an area that looks like just a bunch of matted down pine needles and limbs, and I met up with my friend David James. Hey, David.
Hey, Nick.
Good to see you today.
Glad to be here, sir.
Hey, talking about UGA, David is our Sustainable Forestry Initiative Program Coordinator in the Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources.
That's correct.
And SFI, Sustainable Forestry Initiative, is a logo, something that folks at home I know have seen in the grocery store on the back of a spiral notebook. I know you've seen this. Look in a minute and see if you can find one. But David, what does this mean to you? What we're looking at here, these matted down needles and limbs, what about this is so special?
Yeah, well, to the untrained eye, it just looks like forest debris that originates at the logging deck when the trees are topped and limbed. And the grapple skidder will grab wads of this and bring it back out to the trail and distribute it across the site, but primarily across this skid trail in order to stabilize the soil. And it'd be gathered up and placed in a low spot just like this so that these soils don't wash away, because the number one priority of logging and harvesting operations is to conserve the soil, keep it where it's at, because that's the base for the next crop.
And when we talk about crops, usually in ag, we talk about crops harvested every year. We're talking about 20, 30 years sometimes on this crop.
Long
really
rotations.
Gotta take care of this.
Yes, and this will shore up the soil just long enough for the earth to recover, because then the species on the forest floor are going to grow back eventually.
I can't thank you enough, David. Thank you so much. Oh my
Always
gosh.
a pleasure to have y'all.
We got to thank you. We got to thank Harry. We got to thank Aaron Lincoln that set all this stuff up for us. And until next time, for the Farm Monitor, David, as I always say, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you that enthusiasm is contagious. So pass it on. Y'all, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here again this time next month. See ya. Holding a juvenile Juro spider. Until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you, like I always do, that enthusiasm is contagious.